Now, United Kingdom's Prime Minister Keir Starmer says UK's desire to reset relations with the European Union does not mean reversing Brexit. Sir Starmer was speaking at a joint news conference with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Berlin after the pair began talks on a UK-Germany Bilateral Treaty. He says he wants a closer relationship with Europe on areas including defense and the economy.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he has been absolutely clear that he wants a reset in relations between the UK and EU and that the bilateral treaty meeting today is moving at pace. Prime Minister Starmer clarified that the reset with the EU will not mean reversing Brexit or re-entering the single market or customs union. He added that there are no plans for a youth mobility scheme, but there are plans for a closer relationship. According to Mr. Keir Starmer, quote, "It is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reset our relationship with Europe. We must turn a corner on Brexit and fix the broken relationships left behind by the previous government," end quote.
I'm delighted to be back at this moment of opportunity for our two countries. Olaf, on every occasion that we've met, we've talked about our ambitions for the future, our values of security, prosperity and respect, and our shared determination to harness the power of government for the service of working people. And that is what we are doing today. A new UK-Germany treaty, a once-in-a-generation chance to deliver for working people in Britain and in Germany. A new agreement, a testament to the depth and potential of our relationship, with deeper links on science, technology, development, people, business, culture, a boost to our trading relations. Germany, of course, already the UK's second largest trading partner in the world, and through that, a chance to create jobs here and in the United Kingdom, and deliver that most precious of goods for both our countries, economic growth.
Mr. Starmer says the new treaty between the UK and Germany is part of a wider reset and adds that he hopes it will be agreed by the end of the year.
Global affairs analyst Benga Onifade joins me live now from the UK for more on this. Ms. Onifade, what do you understand by this reset that Prime Minister Keir Starmer is talking about?
Good afternoon. So based on what Keir Starmer is talking about, there had been a big division as a result of the Brexit votes. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he did have a deal. I don't think it was the best of deals, because at the end of the day, it was a very long-lasting conversation. And, so right now, I think people, or the majority of the politicians, and of course, both parties, these are more like the powerhouse of Europe. They are looking into something more beneficial, whereby there will be a relationship. Of course, UK has had a change of governments. All that's been in the past now. However, we both respect the Brexit. The fact is here to stay. But now we need something that will be mostly mutually beneficial for both parties. I mean, if you look at what's going on out there in the industries, of course, they've mentioned that there's, they just we're not re-entering the single market, but we want a better trade deal that's going to be working for both of us. So if you look at the industry, as I was trying to say, I remember one of the manufacturing, UK is not exactly a great manufacturing hub, but we've had, many engineers disappeared. And there was a manufacturing company I was talking to a while back. And, even though if you want to go to Italy, which is literally 2 hours over the plane, compared to going to Turkey, which is about 4, 5, 6 hours, it will take, things coming over from Turkey will arrive here quicker than coming from Italy, which is, literally the neighbor, or even Germany, which is just about an hour away. So there has been deep divisions as a result of this. There's been so much bureaucracy and red tape. And of course, Germany being the second biggest trading partner for the United Kingdom, this is what UK is trying to do, resolve things whereby we both, have a profitable win. I mean, at the end of the day as well, Germany exactly are not, things are not going as great for them, without the UK being involved anyway. So yes, things are going well either way, but of course it works a lot more better if you have, there's, at the end of the day, we have more wins we still can share. And that's what, more like eating your cake and having it. That's what the Prime Minister is talking about in this case.
And as it is, we know Germany is still part of the European Union. The UK has chosen to leave. So one wonders how this is expected to play out, really. What is the UK willing to give to achieve this closer ties?
Sure. You don't necessarily have to give away your freedom. I mean, UK, even though this is actually what's strange. I mean, word on the streets is that even though UK is no longer a part of the EU, but, bulk of our regulations is still modeled, or the laws is still modeled after the EU. We're talking about sharing science and technology, but, as a founding engineer myself, bulk of the engineering rules and standard is still mostly EU anyway. If you go back to 2010, for example, the catapults were created and you had the biggest, aerospace provider in the world. We're talking about Airbus, and they've got a huge, they have a huge hub in Wales. Rolls-Royce, for example, which has a huge hub in what's it called, in Derby. When I think at the end of the day, when money is involved, both parties will be able to come to glass. And part of what's going on here is, we're talking about a better, greater tax deal for each party. So you don't necessarily have to give away any form of freedom. And at the end of the day, also, since and it's like a tit for tat, really. Since the whole Brexit thing came to life, there has been a greater deal of a queue, stretching over just for you to cross over the border. 2 weeks ago, I was just in Vienna, and literally, I realized, if the people with the EU passport, they had a seamless transfer through compared to myself. I had to have a longer queue, but at the same time, it's the same thing here coming into the UK. UK is still attractive. Germany and the other, 27 European countries are still attractive, but we could have a mutually beneficial relationships. Thankfully, UK's got a lot to offer on the table, and I think it could be a win-win without having to break our neck, really, for each other.
All right, and talking about fixing the broken relationship, both prime ministers discussed about an action plan to tackle illegal migration on the one hand and defense on another. What do you think? What do we expect to see in the days ahead?
So, I mean, the Prime Minister doesn't think it's going to be an easy conversation. They think it's probably going to, it's something that's going to go on for 6 months conversationally. And speaking of, immigration, illegal migration, that's a big deal for the EU-wide. I will say, we're talking about smuggling gangs from America and from countries outside the EU. And I think one of the things which UK keeps talking about is sending back boats. You get people who come across the channel from which France has been turning them here, unsuccessfully. But one thing they can both do, of course, when there's a joint collaboration right now, the EU don't want, migrants flooding their countries. Likewise, the UK don't want it. So when there's a contribution factor, we're talking about migrants as far as Africa and Asia. This way, once you realize UK is just a small island right here. Likewise, France doesn't want this thing. At the end of the day, they both have overwhelming migration from both sides, from different parts of the world. So joint collaboration, again, like I keep saying, the key word here, the win, you get things down right there in France, you get things down right here, both people, of course, instead of us just sending back boats, I think they both contribute forces, for example, tackle this illegal gangs from abroad. So it's not just one person working on it. If there's a joint collaboration, joint information, joint support, and funding, these things could work well. So it's generally going to work for both each other. But it's something we've got to see for 6 months. I think it's going to be a bonus. And of course, Keir Starmer has got this thing on, even though he's into the Prime Minister. And what the majority of British people are saying is that, you know, the majority, the 80% of the electorate did not actually vote Labour. Yes, he had the biggest win, but they didn't vote him in. But of course, if this is something that will create a massive boost, of course, for the markets, for both sides, it will be a win.
All right, then we'll look forward to how it plays out. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Gbenga Onifade is a global affairs analyst. Thank you for talking to us on World Now.
Thanks.